Okay, so it is August 25th, 2020, and I just want you to see these plants. Like, look at them. This is massive. The only thing is, people, it got in late, right? It got in late because of all the rain. Oh, look at that. That's lovely. Anyway, I don't know if I'm going to get too much. I don't know what that is. I don't think that's a pumpkin. Kind of looks like a pumpkin. It's the only one that seems to be there. I'm working outside. My landlady's coming to get some plums. Boy, oh boy, she's going to be so happy. And I'm going to give her one can. She says she doesn't eat them like that, but I'm going to tell her to try it in the wintertime. Or maybe with some ice cream or something. I have beets in there, but obviously this was the only one thing that seems to be growing because it got in so late. Like this, it's just crawling. Hey, look, look, it's crawling. Anyway, we'll see. We'll just let it grow until it can't grow no more. Got one out of it. Just it in itself is one. It's like kind of nice to look at. Just I've never seen it get that big before. Right? They're big. This is big, people. Look at those big, beautiful pots. So I'm working on those today and give these trees a little more room. Right? Take a couple of them. And then I'm basically working in the front today, though. I'm not working back here. It's because I cleaned out in there, people. I sprayed everything down, threw everything out of there. Rearranging, that's what's happening. And then we've got this one, which, again, got in late. You can see, because it's got blooms, right? But there's something growing in here somewhere. It looks like another pumpkin. See, look. What the hell? It's all these pumpkins growing. It just seems to be pumpkins. Oh. Right, and then it's spreading out over here. This is parsley seeds. I should actually bring those in. This is parsley seeds. They're nice. And then look at this one. You see? It's so pretty. That's a picture moment. It's spreading out. Something's growing in there. Oh no, it fell off. See, it broke off. Oh well. It tried. Where is it? There it is. Raccoons always running around out here. I brought home this styrofoam containers because after I'm done with that, I'm going to see, I don't know, I'm either going to use them for storage, for Andre's walnut art, or I'm going to use them to grow lettuce and kale and that type of thing. I'm not sure yet. I haven't really decided. And then, you see, look, there's no one. This just seems to be pumpkins. I don't know. So beans are pretty much gone. You can see I have a lot of blooming, which obviously the bees like. There's something growing there. What we'll get out of it, I don't know. But, because the weather's going to be changing. Look at this warrior tree now. Look, people, I can stand underneath it. And there's a canopy. There's a canopy. I'm under a canopy, people. I'm under a canopy of black walnut. This is black walnut. This is an endangered species in the province of British Columbia, Canada. Like, honest to God. Oh. Honest to God. That's so nice. Look how big it got. Can you see? My landlady, after when she's coming through here, she'll, what is that? I'll be like, that's the warrior tree. And then, of course, we've got trees in there, right? I'm taking you into my greenhouse. It gets a little nerve-wracking, though, for me. Look at this nice little white oak. Oh my God. Look, something is moving. Where is he? What is in there? Oh my god, something's underneath there, people. Oh, the cat. Mickey! Mickey the gardener cat. What are you doing, Mickey? You're scaring me. Anyway, I have to get a lock on this door. I mean, technically I shouldn't have to. I've never had one on it. But you know, people, I'm gonna tell you, I feel like, you know, it's very easy for people to creep my yard. I'm pretty sure somebody is. Anyway, this is the greenhouse now. This, I am so happy that I made this greenhouse, people, over the years, because just like those squashes, pumpkins, or whatever that's growing out in the yard out there, got in late. These little tomato plants, when I put them in here, they were like this, and like they were like almost a month and a half behind in terms of a growing season. But if you can see what's going on here, and I said to myself, even if I get green tomatoes, I'm okay with that. Because I can take those green tomatoes and make relish. I can freeze them. I can do whatever. There's a couple of them there that need sticks, so I'll do that today. Right? You know, it's a food source you can do something with, right? So I'm really just kind of going with the flow here, trying to hope that I get some tomatoes. Now this tomato plant, which if you look at it, you can see it's grown like up to 5 inches in the last, oh my god, I just transplanted those things like 3 or 4 days ago. And since I've transplanted them, look what they've done. They just sprouted right out. This one too. You can see it. They're sprouting out from the top. Look. You can see it. You can see it. That's like 6 inches. That's like 6 inches in the last 2 days. Because they're inside the greenhouse. So anyway, I bought that one, this one, and this one from my local convenience store, you know, the South Korean people. Look. And they already had like a few tomatoes, right? So anyway, so you can see now, some of them are ripening. So this I'll give to the kids later, right? And we'll put it in food, right? Make salad for Andre and Amari. I'll cook up, right? A little bit. But anyway, I transplanted it, and this one not so much growing, because this one didn't get transplanted. That one got transplanted, and then a few days later, I transplanted this one. But I can almost guarantee you now that it's taking root, in the next 4 days, it's going to be like 6 inches taller. Right? So, you can see what I've been, you know, right? So even if I get some green tomatoes out of this, like this is so nice. And it's nice and warm in here, and they really, really like it. These ones I have to set up, but I have to get a lock on this door, people. I do. Yep. Because, you know, too many people are crazy these days. Somebody come in here and poison my plants, right? Try and hurt me and hurt my family. So, I gotta get a lock up on that, because it makes me feel uncomfortable coming in here and showing you. For the simple fact is, for the one that's stalking me, will see it as a weakness and try and destroy it by any means necessary because of this shit. Okay, so I'm going to keep this short, people. This is August 26, 2020. Now I have this huge headache, all because of this. I was out in the yard yesterday, you know, bending, lifting buckets, shoveling dirt, pulling weeds, cutting back raspberry bushes, just the whole 9 yards. Climbing trees. My landlady came by and I gave her the rest of the plums off that one plum tree. And then I found a few more, which I have another little tree growing. Anyway, I picked them, and I'm going to make Amari some plum juice today, because I have this with my eyes. See, what's happening here, people, is I've been doing a lot of computer stuff, right? Because I'm working on that second project of mine, okay? Which I'm going to talk about briefly here, and then I'm going to just upload the video that I have, okay? Because I just got to get on it, okay? I don't want to drag it out, right? And, you know, I'm trying to stay with what's, like, important here in terms of focused. So, obviously, the food is one of them. Okay, this is plums that I canned. Okay, I have, I don't know, 15 jars, 16 jars of that. And then because I had the brine left, right, with the plum juice, I ended up making plum jelly. Hold on. You can see my eyes are tired, right? I ended up making plum jelly. I got like 4 jars of it. You can see. Do you see? Which is so good. And I still have a pot of plums, plus I picked those other ones yesterday, which are like extremely nice and ripe to make the juice, which I'm going to do. And then the pulp I'm going to take after the fact, and I'm going to combine them with the apples as I continue to cook the apples, and then I'm going to make plum apple fruit leather. But today I'm doing the blackberry fruit leather with apples, because I was peeling after I came in last night, people, from working outside, I started peeling apples. So now I've got a batch of apples, not a big one because I was tired, right? To do a little bit of raspberry, and then I'm going to de-seed the blackberry because I went out and got more blackberries. So I have a little juice to make a few more blackberry jellies, right? Just because I like the blackberry apple fruit leather. So, you know, and the berries were so perfect in terms of really juicy, because the weather's changing now, right? So they were extremely ripe, and I said, Andre, you know, they're just perfect. This is the perfect time, because after this, that's, you know, let's do it. So I picked another 2 pots of blackberries, and so that's 3 times I've done this, right, in terms of making jelly. And then my son came up with a little tray of blueberries that he didn't eat that I'm going to combine with some apples, right? Because I still have a fair amount of apples, and it's working out pretty good, this fruit leather. Okay, so I'm doing all that, people, right? Today, I'm not going to worry too much today because of this headache, right? And I'm going to can the apple juice that I have after I make the plum juice. So I'm going to can plum juice today, apple juice today by the end of the day. I'm going to do the blackberry fruit roll-up. I have a little bowl, just enough for 1 tray of dehydrated apple raspberry fruit roll-up, right? And then after that's done, then I put the plums, after I do the juice, into the fridge. And of course, I'll be too tired to be peeling apples, right, to make, you know, more pulp, right? So, you know, my day should be over by then, right? And then tomorrow, basically, I'm out in the yard, right? Now, when this headache shit starts for me, because a lot of it's eye-related, because what happens, people, is I have to use these glasses, which are dollar store glasses, basically, right, for the computer, because I can't read it, anything, unless I have a glass like this, okay? However, I can't walk around the house, never mind go from inside of a house into the bright light outside with glasses like this, because it's just, right, and it just like makes me like this. So I have to wear these dollar store glasses for something that I'm doing like right now. And of course I wear these outside, which are not good for my eyes, right? But what you gonna do? So that's you know, because I've been doing so much computer stuff in terms of copying and pasting and going through these videos with this, I guess you can say, global, and this is the point of this video, and I'm going to upload this, people, okay? I am going to continue working on what I'm working on. I have a fair amount of video and copy and paste pictures, I guess you could say, that I have to find a way to put together over a period of time as I continue to collect. I don't want to say evidence, but basically as I continue to collect evidence to prove that these representatives, hold on a minute, he's just going outside. So anyway, I don't know what I was saying. My eyes, people. So I have this tension headache now, which I may or may not have for the next 2-3 days. I took 2 Tylenol, but being that I'm going to be out in the sun tomorrow, working with these glasses on, bending, lifting, pulling, dragging, whatever it is I'm doing, hammering. Actually, I might even get out there today because I've got a little bit of cement that kind of got rained on, and hopefully I can still use it, and I want to make a little brick thing. So my goal is to actually my goal is to get outside even for a couple of hours, because I'm making like a little brick wall to go around the pond, and I want to use up this cement before it really settles, because I went to Home Depot, I bought it, my son put it in the yard, it rained, so it kind of put moisture into the bag, but I don't think it's completely ruined the cement. Okay, so anyway, hopefully I'll be able to get out there around 4 or 5 and make a little you know, whatever it's called with for the pond. All right, but in the meantime, people, what I'm working on, okay, we'll call it evidence. We'll call it evidence. This is just a reminder of the seriousness of what's happening to society at the hands of a few individuals, I guess you could say globally, that aren't necessarily who they appear to be. Okay? They're being cloaked, people, cloaked. Like, you know, like they're, you know, that old wolf in sheep's clothing. Okay, well, it's more than just a wolf in sheep's clothing. Some of these individuals have been altered with their DNA. It's one or two things. It's either that, which I'm working to prove, okay, in terms of producing the evidence so that I don't sound like a raving lunatic, okay? And that's one reason why my eyes are so sore right now, because I've been spending a fair amount of time trying to isolate that evidence so that other people can be aware and start preparing to defend themselves and their families, because this is serious what we're dealing with. Only people are being deceived through deception with that cloaking, okay, and lies and da-dee-dee-da, right? And so anyway, or it is a program, like a computer program that some government agency, like a military psyop or something, has programmed. Okay, let's just say I'm a politician, okay, and I do a video, and it's me, the human being, doing the video, but somebody else comes along and alters that video and changes it here and there with slight subliminal, I don't want to call them messaging, but basically that's what they are, imagery, subliminal imagery, to project a subliminal message, because the original video had been altered by somebody else, with or without their knowledge, whether the politicians agree to this or whether they don't, and they're just unaware of it, because it's beyond the politicians themselves. Okay, I haven't figured out if what I'm looking at is real in the context of reality, like, oh my God, this is real, or if it's a military psyop that's using a computer program to project subliminal messages through the altering imagery of the original videos, so that it makes that psychological imprint in our brains without us realizing it, so that we're easier to control. And no, I don't practice Satanism, people. I fight against it, okay? You stand up against it and you fight against it, all right? That's what you do, okay? So that's what I'm doing, because some of this stuff that we're dealing with, individuals have merged in Satanism and the concept around Satanism in regards to instilling, instilling, I-N-S-T-I-L-L-I-N-G, to instill, to import, embed, right, with an insidious intent, right, like with an evil intent, to manifest an internal fear and confusion, that type of stuff, right? So that it's easier to derail the individuals that this is being projected to, okay? So, but taking it for face value in terms of what I'm noticing and what I'm seeing and what I'm putting together in terms of connecting the dots, okay, I am going to, I can only play one or two cards. It's either real and we're just not aware of it, or two, it's a military psyop that's using a computer program to alter original videos to psychologically F with us, right? So that we're easier to control, so that they can bring in their one world order. However, people, we need to remind ourselves that tens of thousands of people are dying en masse, very fast, very quick, without proper investigations into their deaths via the fentanyl crises. 70 to 80,000 U.S. American citizens every year. 70,000 to 80,000 USA American citizens every year die from fentanyl-related death. As each and every corner across all 50 states are dubbing those deaths, as they do in Canada, as suicide or accident. Okay? As our politicians, if you want to call them that, are doing absolutely nothing to curb the flush into the community of the fentanyl that's bringing in these dead bodies. If anything, they're ramping it up, because we're in a purge right now, people. Only it's more than that. It's more than that. Okay? Because as I go through what I'm going through right now, there's telltale signs to suggest, in a reality sense, in terms of these individuals somehow, some way, are not play acting for the computer, or the military isn't going out of their way to alter the original videos to implant that subliminal message, so that we get fearful internally of what's out there or what's to come. Okay? So, if they're real, and what I'm seeing is real, and because it happens so fast, and people aren't connecting the dots, okay, because they're being pulled here, pulled there, right? Because it's like I say, a hyena, a pack of hyenas. They come in, they take a snipe here, they come in and take a snipe there, another one comes in, takes a snipe there. Before you know it, they all swarm you and they take you down. Okay? Well, in a nutshell, there's definitely something wrong with their eyes. Okay? No matter how hard they try to hide it, there's something wrong with their eyes. That's the first thing. That's the easy part, really, to distinguish the difference between a human and a non-human. Something that cloaks itself as a human, but is not really a human. Okay? But you see, there's more. And it's this in here. Okay? This little part in here starts to bulge as if they take their tongue and then go like this. Pay attention to that. Seriously. Because when that starts to happen, well, it's either just posturing for the camera, basically, because these are videos, or it's a signature sign that the tongue is gonna just peek itself out. But you see, there's more than that, people. And I can prove it. And I'm going to prove it. And we need to ask ourselves why. And this is why I'm doing this video. Because it's going to take me a little time to document it, where when I upload it, there's no disputing what I'm uploading. So smart mouths can come in and distract away from what I'm saying. If they're bold enough and brave enough to put themselves out on fucking video and do this shit, then they're bold enough to be exposed so that the public can start talking about it and figuring out what it is that we're dealing with. Because if it's the military using a program to alter videos so that shit just subliminally puts itself in, you know, as you're watching, and makes an imprint in your brain so that it derails you from being a critical thinker and, you know, and discerning what is correct and what is false, and figuring out how to look after your family in a time where people are obviously exploiting millions and millions and millions of people for it's beyond a political agenda, people. Because this stuff, when the tongue comes out, under the right circumstances, but you have to look for it, and even when you're not looking for it, and you see it, you can't ignore it, and then you need to follow through on what you're looking at. And if you're seeing it more than once on different people that, well, don't call them people. When you see it more than once on different individuals, as if it's a form of communication between those individuals and those types of individuals, right? Then you need to follow up on it. So basically what I'm saying is, as I'm doing what I'm doing, what I'm noticing is, as they stick their tongues out, as they change their whatever they're doing, it forms little bubbles on them. You'll start to see a bubble form. Now, they can't come out in their true form because it would frighten human beings. And we would organize very quickly and fight back very quickly if we knew what we're up against. And you see, that's the thing. People don't know. Because we're dealing with something that, one, is a predator that cloaks itself like a chameleon. It acts like a octopus. It can change its form and hide and wait, right? It can blend into the environment and then spring an attack at any time when it wants, without you realizing it. And being that Like, you have to ask yourself, what are those bubbles? How do they feed off of humans? Because they're feeding off of humans, people. Do they attach themselves and that bubble just gets bigger and grows tentacles? It goes into you and it's like a spider. It paralyzes you where you're laying there, and then it injects you with something so that your organs and brain and all this shit become liquefied, and then it just sucks it all out. Because this is not adrenochrome, okay? We're not dealing with just something that wants adrenochrome. Not with these bubbles coming out on the tongue. And that's what I can detect in terms of what I've been working on with my videos. And let me remind you, this is more than one individual doing this. Okay? Right? As in the real world, people are expected to not congregate, not socialize, social distance, isolate, wear masks, simply because the ones that are with the issue of the bubbles and the funky eyes, that shit, okay, are in power. Because us humans have been conditioned to accept our political system as just. When in fact, they've been feeding on us for a long time, people. That's why 175,000 people go missing in the United States of America basically every year, as these very same individuals do shit about it. So I'm trying to figure out what they're spliced with. Okay, I'm going to end it on this note. Okay, I live for the minute. I don't live for the day, people. I live for the minute. If I can get 20 more years in, I will get 20 more years in. But I'm telling you, I can't even walk to the apple tree now without walking down the road. And who do I see run across my freaking path 15 feet ahead of me? That baby-faced fucking cop. The shapeshifter. Because right across the street from the apple tree, there was all the cops. Obviously somebody died. Deja vu with Ciera. With the baby-faced cop who looks like a little boy, jauntering to his vehicle as Andre and I are walking up to the apple tree. Is that coincidence? Sure, it's coincidence. But you have to remember, that is subliminal messaging. That is a form of sign language that is used between these so-called individuals as they plot and scheme to corral the human population into a controllable, more controllable situation, right? So that, they can continue to feed on us, people, without being held to account. That's what I'm working on. And I just want you to know that I have proof that they got little bubbles that form on their fucking tongues when they relax a little bit, and they're taunting and they're teasing. And some of these individuals, you wouldn't even think that they're involved, but they are. Now, whether it's a computer program done through some military psyop to psychologically fuck with people's heads as they do predictive programming and put out misinformation and trivialize the seriousness of what real human beings are having to face, isolated and alone like abused people at the hands of our elected officials who basically don't give a shit if 175 100,000 people go missing in the United States of America every year, not to mention the hundreds of thousands of people who die between the United States and Canada from fentanyl-related death every year, as you have these coroners, the police and the hospital staffs and anything to do with the public union sector trivializing those deaths, saying it was an accident, it was a suicide, they did it to themselves, they should have known better. No, people, they're not dying by themselves. Many of them are being fed upon as they die. And now we have to figure out how the fuck these things are feeding on us with their little puscicles. Are they spliced with an octopus? Are they spliced with a fucking spider? They're spliced with something, people. Somebody fucking created this shit in a freaking lab. Wutan lab. No, this is beyond Wutan lab. Okay? Okay, so now that I got that off my chest, you know what I'm working on. So anyway, I'm going to label these up, right? Every minute counts. Put them away, get them off the counter, right? And get on to the next batch. You can see this is apple juice in here. So anyway, there's apple juice in there. So I'll get this ready, and I got the apples. I'm going to make the fruit leather with that and the raspberry. And then I'm going to start cooking up the plums to make plum juice. And then as the plum juice is done, then I'll can the plum juice with the 1 or 2 jars of apple juice. And then I'm back onto apples, and then I'll carry on with the blueberries. And I will continue to work on what I'm working on, people, but I'm serious. You need to start paying attention.